What's up, underdogs? Ever wonder how a simple moment in 7th grade could lead to a legendary coaching career filled with championships? Well, today we're diving into the journey of Coach Tim Moore, a man whose early passion for teaching and coaching turned into a legacy that changes lives on and off the court. Trust me, you'll want to hear how it all began and the lessons he's learned along the way. Well, right after this message from our sponsor. Full Court Dreams, the Underdawgs Voice is proudly sponsored by Rehab to Perform. Are pain or injuries keeping you on the sidelines? Our friends at Rehab to Perform have you covered. Now open in Owings Mills with 9 other locations across the DMV. R2P will get you back in the game and ready to perform. Visit rehabtoperform.com and start your journey to peak performance today. What's up, underdogs? It's your boy, Coach Q, and welcome back to another episode of Full Court Dreams, the Underdawgs Voice, where we're diving into the stories of those who grind, hustle, and put in work day in and day out. Today, we got a guest whose name is synonymous with winning, Coach Tim Moore. From the humble beginnings to national championships, Coach Moore has a legacy that speaks volumes, and today we're going to unpack his journey and secrets to success. Okay, so without further ado, let's welcome Coach Tim Moore to the show. Coach, thanks for joining us today. How you been?
Not bad, Coach Q. Thanks for having me. Definitely excited to be here. Hopefully be able to share a little bit about my journey and, inspire others to chase their dreams as well.
Yeah, that's what we all about, trying to inspire people from other people's journeys so they can, go out there and do their thing. So that's what we here. That's what we're here to do. So now, Coach, I ask everybody this question. I got to ask you this question, even though asking you this question because I don't think nobody ever put you in this position for as college level because you win. Look, so when I talk to people about you, I be like, because I'm like, dude, his program was like the Connecticut of the Penn State programs, like 11 championships, conference championships and stuff like that. So let me ask you this question. So what does an underdog means to you?
Man, that is a great question. You really don't think about that stuff often. I guess for me, being an underdog, just someone, you have to overcome different obstacles, whether it's professional obstacles, personal obstacles. You have things stacked against you. And, in my case early on, it was really just doubters out there telling me that, you're not going to make it. You're not going to accomplish, your goals. Specifically it was, I worked at a Giant Eagle, which is a, shopping center. I worked in a bakery, when I was going through college. And the manager there, said, "Oh, what are you going to college for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to college for education. I want to be a teacher." And he literally just laughed at me. He was like, "You ain't going to make it. There's no way you'll never be a teacher." You know what I mean? Like, that's what he said to me. Right. So, I think, being an underdog comes in different things, in different ways. So, but, that was it for me. Just having people out there telling me that, I want to achieve my dreams or, accomplish what I want to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, you get those haters, but I call them my friends because they push me.
Motivators. They're not haters, they're motivators, right?
Right. They push me to, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do this. Yeah, yeah. So let's get deep because this story, I'm like, what? Like, it's amazing how you came up with, how did you get, passionate about coaching. It's amazing the story you tell about, your passion for coaching and how it came about. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, okay, I never heard this one before, so I gotta hear this one. So let's dig deep. Let's take it back where it all started. So at a church talent show.
Yeah.
That's what sparked you to become a coach. Like, talk about that, man.
Yeah, so I was in seventh grade, and I specifically remember actually it was back around when Desert Storm was happening, the war in
Yeah.
the Middle East and everything. Like I still remember it to this day. But we had a talent show, and I did dribbling. I was always smallest one in my grade at that time, so I was always the point guard, and ball hand. I love ball handling, and
Mm.
so my talent show was ball handling, and I was doing 2 balls, 3 balls, figure eights, doing all this stuff, and at the end of it, this little boy come up to me. He was like, "Can you teach me how to dribble?" So we went out the back hallway to church, and probably for a half hour or so, and just showing him, all right, we'll start here, and just give me your hand. And we dribbled and switched hands and dribble, and I said, all right, now we're gonna go down to the end of the hall and back, and he was just having so much fun, and he was so excited that, at the end he ran out, he grabbed his parents. He's like, Mom, Dad, come look what I can do. And he brought them back, and he was showing them that he could dribble a basketball now. And, for me, it was just that moment. I was like, wow, I'm like, this is what I got to do. Like, and it wasn't even coaching, it was teaching. I got to be a teacher. Like, if I can help kids, and just watching him and how excited he was at learning something. And like, if I can be able to teach kids or a young adult, whatever, whoever it is, and they get that excitement, and and I can give them skills or whatever it might be, like, this is what I want to do. So, seventh grade, that night, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be a coach. And at that time, you really didn't even think about, college level or anything like that. You just say, hey, I want to teach, and I'm going to coach high school basketball or middle school, whatever it is. That's my dream. So, from seventh grade on, that's what I set out to do, and, never wavered from it. Here I am.
Man, look, that's powerful. It's amazing how, small moments can shape your whole entire life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, early on, uh, you wanted to coach, and you pursued it through education, right?
Mm-hmm.
At Slippery Rock
Yes.
University. All right. So, how did your studies in elementary education and special education prepare you for the challenge of coaching, especially at the college level?
Yeah, good question. So, I was thinking about that, and I think first and foremost, one thing that I really learned early on was just to be honest with people.
Right.
So, one of the experiences, again, and an obstacle I had to overcome was, we really didn't talk about this much prior, but I played basketball at Penn State Beavers for 2 years. It was a
Okay.
JUCO. It was a JUCO at that time, so we didn't have the option of staying for 4 years. And I was so, little history here. I was actually one of the first captains on the men's basketball team when they brought men's basketball to Penn State Beaver. So,
Okay.
uh, but we had the option to stay in 2 years. So we had to move on. So I went to Slippery Rock, great education school. Got up there. What they didn't tell me though was to get in the education department and, be an education major, you had to have a minimum of a 2.5 GPA.
Okay.
Well, I only had like a 2.25. They failed to mention that
Mm-hmm.
up front. So now I'm at Slippery Rock thinking I'm going to be a teacher, and they're like, no, you can't even get in the department. You got to change your major. You got to do this. You got to do it. And, I was devastated. So, I'm on the phone with my mom. What am I going to do? Let's just get a communications major. But so I did, I switched my major from educations to communications up front. But I just really buckled down and worked, got my GPA up to where, it needed to be above a 2.5. Hey, I'm going to switch my major back to education. So I did that. And then, from there I was okay. But, I wish they would have told me that up front,
Right.
So one of the biggest things that I learned, is just to be honest, and whether it hurts our program, whether it helps our program, me, my assistants, I tell them all, like, be honest with the students. And, I don't even want a gray area. It's black and white. And, if it hurts us, it hurts us. But at least that student and their parents know, what's going on. And, there's nothing, there's no questions about anything. So, that was the biggest one. I think another thing that I learned through all that was, just be myself. That was a huge challenge So I honestly, once I got into the education major, I was kind of like the outcast. I always had on the urban wear and the bucket hats, the hats on backwards and the Timberland boots and necklaces and earrings. And, everybody else is going in khakis and polos. And
Right.
people looked at me like, oh, what's this kid? He's going to be a teacher? Like, what? No, but I met one professor up there. I still remember her name, Dr. DuPont. And, she just embraced me, and she told me the same thing. She's like, hey, embrace yourself, what you believe in, who you are, and your individuality. Like, that's what matters the most. And just stay focused on what you want to do. Don't worry about anybody else, what they think of you, what others have to say. So, just, believe in yourself and what you want to accomplish. And, I try to instill that on my players and, my students. Don't worry about anybody else. If you know what you want to do and you know what you want to accomplish, stick to that. And, that's what matters the most. So, I think those are probably the two of the biggest things, that I learned early on, especially going through that. And then, I use those in coaches, being honest and with my players. And, as a coach too, it's very easy to hear that outside noise. You lose a couple games and, things aren't going well. People, well, why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? Why isn't this one playing? You can't focus on that outside noise. You're in the gym every day, you're grinding, what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and you got to stick to that.
Right. Look, I got to that point where I never really lied. I never lied. I ain't even gonna say really. I never lied to a parent, or a player about my AAU program or anything. Look, this is how it is. If this is who we are, this is how it is. If you're looking for something else, I can tell you somewhere else you can go. Like,
right. Yep.
Right now, we're not a highly competitive team. We're a development AAU program where we develop players, and then once they develop and they get to a certain level, then we'll start playing on, high level, tournaments and stuff like that. I said, so when your kid first come in, we're a development team.
Yep.
We're a development organization. If you want something more, then you need to go to the Adidas circuit and all that stuff. But I tell parents, the end result is the same. We still got our girls into colleges, but they're better prepared because we focus on development more than anything else. They're better prepared when they go to colleges, and coaches thank us for that because they know that they know they're getting the girl that's prepared for the next level. And not somebody that just, okay, I'm on a super team, but I'm not really prepared. No. They wind up getting in college, and what wound up happening? They wound up transferring.
Yeah. And that's my biggest thing is, I don't want any surprises. I don't want girls and parents to come in, well, hey, they told us this and this is what happens. And then, we're going to transfer. And, I think one of the biggest things, we talked about, and I think we're going to get to, some points and accomplishments here in a little bit, but, I think one of the greatest accomplishments of our program is we've never had a girl transfer out of our program because she wasn't happy and go play somewhere else.
Right.
Our girls, they, some of them will go to University Park, and, we've had girls transfer for their majors, but no girl said, well, this is what you said and this isn't happening, so I'm leaving, and they go play elsewhere. We're true to who we are and what we do, and, we're up front. And I think that's one of the things that has helped make us successful. And, I think girls and families appreciate that, and not just girls, anybody,
Right. Cause I think one thing is that the standard is the standard. And I got to that point this year with basketball, like, cause this is my second year at this school. My first year I came in with a team that had a lot of seniors, and I didn't really want to divide them up. And this guy got mad because I didn't put his ninth grade child on varsity. And I said, dude, I don't put no ninth graders on varsity. Like, they got to play a year JV. Like, unless they some super athlete that's, like Angel Reese or something coming in the door, like, that's an exception. Yeah, that's an exception to the rule. But I'm not starting no ninth grader on no playing on ninth grader. She's not going to get no time. I got a team full of seniors. She's not going to get no time. And that senior team been together for a while. I'm not coming in to disturb that.
Right.
So my thing is for now is like the standard is standard. parents and kids. And if you cannot handle our standards, then it's okay for you to leave. I'm fine
Mm-hmm.
with that. I'm not scared to develop kids. So if you can't handle the standard, and your kid can handle the standard, you either stay at the school and don't play, or you could transfer.
Right.
And
Right.
if you're transferring because my standards are what they are, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely.
I'm,
Absolutely.
you know,
We're
but
not gonna
speaking of,
we're not gonna lower the bar. You either
no,
you're coming here, or here you go. Yeah.
right. Because as a coach, like if I don't hold your kids at a high standard, I'm not a good coach. I'm not a good
Hmm.
mentor. I'm not like you should want a coach that's going to hold your kid to high standards.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You should
Yeah.
want that.
Keep them accountable, hold them to high standards, challenge them, get them out of their comfort zone.
Right. You should want that. But speaking of accolades and things like that, sheesh. So, especially when it comes, like, speaking of that, you had a long impressive career at Penn State Beavers, right? So you've been with Penn State Beavers for quite a while. And the achievement speaks for themselves. You had 7 conference championships, 2 national championships. So, I mean, that's incredible. So, what do you think has been the key to your success with that program?
Yeah, I think two of them we just talked about. I think being honest is huge. Girls have to know that they can trust you. You ask for all their time, all their effort, but if they can't trust you and there's that trust and honesty isn't there, it's all for nothing. So, that's one of them. Again, we talked about, just staying true to your vision. But outside of that, I have really great assistants. They recruit tremendously, and really help, keep the success of our program where it's at with our talent level and things like that. But, with that, we don't look for the best players. You have like, this one's really good, this one's really good, and that's great. But, I don't want the best player. I want the girl that has a great attitude. I want the girl that's great in the classroom. I want the girl that fits our style of play. That's a good teammate. Those are the things that we look for, when we recruit, and I think that helps us be successful. We went 2 years ago. We went and watched a girl. We really wanted her. Coach took her out at a game, and instead of sitting on the bench with her teammates, she goes and sits on the end, down at the end on the floor, crosses her arms and legs, and just sitting there. It's crossed her right off the list. That's not what we want. So. Looking for that right fit. I think consistency is also a huge part. We have great culture. We have a great identity year in and year out. And it's something we just developed from day one, and we haven't wavered from it. Our upperclassmen, they understand when they come in as freshmen, the upperclassmen teach them the ropes and teach them the ways. And it's just that way year after year. Freshmen become sophomores, so on and so on. And, the older they get, they feel like the more it's their team and it's their program, which we want it to be. It's not our program, it's their program. So, they take these underclassmen under their wings, hopefully showing them the right ways, right from wrong off the floor. But, on the floor, they definitely do. We're a press team. So our defense is pretty intricate, and, their coaches on the floor and off the floor, girl comes off the floor. Hey, this is how you should do it. And blah, blah, blah. So there's just that consistency and that culture that we have, that really helps us be successful. And then I think the last part of it is, not really the last part, the last big part, just putting our players in uncomfortable situations. I like to say, be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
So, we talk about, practicing hard and doing different things you're not going to do in a game, because when you get into a game, it's just going to make it that much easier. Our non-conference schedule, we probably play one of the toughest non-conference schedules out of any small school in the country. I would have to argue. Last year we played the NCAA Division I team. We played the top 10 NAI program in the country. This year we're playing 2 great NCAA Division II programs. One of them won a national championship in 2015. The other one, year in and year out, was pretty much ranked top 10 in the country. We put our girls in those situations so that they can be successful later on. We know we're probably going to lose those games, but when it gets us into conference play and, playing at our level, it just helps us slow the game down, helps us see things differently. And, I think that's been a huge part of our success as well. I'm not afraid to lose basketball games. If winning later on means losing now, I do it.
Yeah, I think that's what drew me to you, because when I came to watch, I say, yo, we got the same style of coaching. And then hearing how you talking about your program right now is exactly how I want my program to be ran. Like, it's exactly how I want my program to be ran. And so I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, check that, check. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the way a program should be ran, man, because the seniors should be helping out the freshmen. But one thing that I told my seniors last year, I said, whenever we have a dinner or something, y'all eat last. You serve the freshmen.
Yeah. Yes. And that's
I mean?
that's one of our values. So I don't know if we'll get into that too much or not, but we have pretty much 5 values that revolve around our program, and one of them is service. Service your teammates, and not just the community or anything like that, but service each other.
Right. They was like, Coach, well, we got to serve them. We the seniors. I said, dude, because they're coming up. You gotta make them feel a part of the program and welcome them in. So if you gotta think about you gotta think about it. So I always say this: in order for you to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. So if you know how to follow, you'll wind up knowing how to lead. So so teach them how to lead by you servicing them, because like the greatest thing for a leader is to be a person that serves first. You know what I mean? And not a person that just dictate what goes on. People follow leaders that serve. They don't follow leaders that just go ahead and you still all the way back in the mountain and don't pull you along. Like, you got to come back for them and get them and say, "Come on, guys, let's go. We got this." You can't be like, "Oh, forget them. I'm gonna get there first." You know what I mean? I'm gonna get there first. I'm gonna look over the hill, and I'm gonna stand there and wait for them to get there. No, you got to bring them along. So serving them shows them that you care, that you want to help them out, you want to help them get better. And no matter what we do as coaches, we can try to get better, but they want that from their peers more than anything.
Yes.
On how to get better and stuff like that. But and so your philosophy of coaching has been proven, based off of the things that you just said and the accomplishments that you had. So I find this pretty interesting. That one thing that really stands out is that, for me, is that every 4 years, and again, this is how I want my program to run. So every 4 years, a player under your leadership has won at least one championship and scored over 1,000 points. Now, that's no small feat, right? At all. So my thing was, for every freshman that come in by 11th grade year, I want to be fighting for a state championship. And then the 12th grade year, I want to be in the state championship. So that's the way, like every player that comes in has a chance to play in the championship. So that's so how do you install that winning mentality and drive into your players?
Yeah. I really think, I think it just comes back to the culture, who we are and what we do. And a lot of it has to do with our upperclassmen. We can sit there as coaches and talk about, hey, we're coming, we're bringing you in, and we want to win championships, and we want to do this. But if you don't have that buy-in, it's not going to happen. And, I think incoming freshmen, they see how hard our seniors and juniors and sophomores work, and they see how focused they are. And, they see it's like, I want our girls to have fun, but at the same time, like, they work hard while they're having that fun. It's just not fun and games. Like, we're going to be focused. And if we're focused, and, that's just as much fun. So, every year, the goal is to win a championship. It doesn't matter, how many seniors we have, whatever. We never use that term rebuilding. Like that's a term we don't use in our program. This year coming up, for example, I don't have any seniors. I have one junior, three sophomores, and the rest are freshmen. Like we're going to be very young this year. But when they move in and we meet next week, we're here to win championships. It's not, hey, we're young and we're not sure what's going to happen. Like that's not, those aren't the conversations that we have. We want them to believe from day one that they're a championship caliber team. We just have those expectations for them, and we work hard to meet those expectations. Practices, like I said, our practices are so intense. Most of the times they probably are harder than games, and that's just the way we make it. We talked about the tough non-conference schedule. One of my favorite stories, with that, 4 years in championships. So I left Penn State Beavers for 2 years. Took over an NAIA program in Pittsburgh. So when I came back, one of the seniors, her name was Cheyenne. She was from New Mexico. I recruited her as a freshman, but then I left. So I came back, and it's her senior year. And she had yet to win a championship. And, it was, Coach, I really want a championship. I'm not going to be the first girl to not win a championship from being here for all 4 years. And, so on, so on. I was like, all right, Cheyenne, bring your teammates along. Let's do this, So sure enough, end of the year, we're fighting for a conference championship, and we win a conference championship for her. And I mean, just tears of joy coming off her face, and she did it. And then we get into the national tournament, and what do you know? We win her a national championship too. So, she goes in her senior year from having none to winning two. In the national championship game, I'll tell you what, she wasn't going to let us lose that game. She scored, I think it was 16 points in the first quarter by herself. She was pretty much getting on my back, like, we're not losing this game. So that was an awesome memory. But I think that goes back to, the culture. Like, she understood, hey, I'm a senior. I haven't won yet. We're going to win. And she brought, the younger girls along, and then those younger girls wanted to win. Once they understood what was at stake, they wanted to win for Cheyenne. You know what I mean? So, it just goes back to, like I said, we can be the best coaches in the world, but it comes down to the girls. And that year was, I'll never forget that story and the way that played out. And I think that's a testament to what we do and why we win, and the success of our program.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but the way you just describe your team for this year that's coming up, same thing for my team. Like, I got a lot of sophomores that was there. Then I got sophomores that transferred in. Then so we're young, but again, those young girls, they're dogs. I mean, we had, so now we get 3 weeks of workouts in the summer without a team, right? So when I tell you, them young girls, they all of them say we're gonna play on the same team. Let's play against the older girls. When I tell you, they was like beating the crap out of them all defensively, playing them 94 feet. Like, and my juniors and stuff was getting mad. I'm like, why y'all getting mad?
Yep.
I'm like, they was like mad, like ready to fight mad. And I was so
and that's good. Like, you need that. Yeah.
Right. I was like, that's what I like. I said, y'all juniors and stuff, y'all need that because y'all didn't have that last year. So y'all need them youngins coming here, because what them youngins are going to do, them youngins are going to pressure you to play better.
Absolutely. It's going to make them better. Absolutely.
It's going to make you better. And then on the other hand, you can be like, man, ain't no youngin coming in here that's going to try to, so it's going to start that competitive edge between the teammates. You know what I mean? Make y'all stronger. Then when you get in the game, you're going to be better. Yes. You're going to be more competitive.
Yes.
Because that's what I think is lacking in sports right now, is that competitive edge. I don't see it as much when I go to games, when I'm watching games, and even with my team, like, I don't see it as much anymore. Like,
I
It seems like
agree. I agree 100%. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I think the two things, I think the way AAU is structured right now.
mm-hmm.
And, if I'm not playing a lot on this team, I'm just going to go to that team. And if I'm not playing a lot, so they're just hopping until they find somewhere that, they're going to be the star and they're going to play. They don't have to compete. They're just, which leads to the college part. They're just going to transfer.
Right.
If I can't compete here and if I don't have to work hard, if I'm not going to get my minutes, I'm just going to go somewhere else.
Right.
They don't, I don't think a lot of young athletes today have to compete because they can just go somewhere else, where they don't have to.
And it's acceptable for them to do that. Like, and I can put some of this on the parents. Like, okay, they ain't, my buddy be like, no, you stand right here. You ain't going. Nope. I'm not traveling to no other team. No, nothing. You're going to stay right here, unless it's something detrimental. You know what I mean? But if the reason is because you ain't getting enough playing time, then all right, what are you doing in practice? My question to my kid when they come home and say, I'm not getting enough playing time. All right, what you doing in practice? Because I'm not at your practices. So what are you doing in practice? Did you talk to your coach about this? So what did your coach say? All right, and that's what you need to do to get that playing time. I'm not going to go to why my child not getting playing time.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm a coach. Like my mother never did that. My mother, I'm at practice. Where you going? I'm going to basketball practice. All right. If I come back and say, Ma, the coach done said this and that, she was like, okay, what you want me to do?
Figure it out.
You better figure it out. You better either work hard or your tail gonna still be on that bench. So you figure that out. And I think that's one thing that's lacking now is that these parents are trying to not allow their kids to go through struggle like they did. But if you're okay, you're not going to think your kid going to be okay going through those struggles. Just be there to be like a person that they can vent to, but tell them the truth. Like, look, that's life. That's life.
Absolutely.
You're not going to always get what you want. You're not always going. It's always going to be somebody better than you. You're always going to have to work hard to get to a certain place that you want to get to. You can't just give up and run. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah. And you got to take the entitlement piece out of it too. I think, you have, we'll go back to, juniors and seniors. Well, I'm a junior and I'm a senior. I should be playing. And, I spent my 2 or 3 years here and that's great. You are a junior. You are a senior. I appreciate your time. But I told you from day one that if I bring in a freshman in that's better than you, or if somebody's working harder than you and they take your minutes, that's on you. You don't, just because you're a junior or a senior doesn't mean anything. What you put out, whether it's on the field, on the floor, no matter where it is, in the workplace, in the future, like if you get hired and you're not doing your job, they're going to fire you and find somebody else that's going to do your job. That's the world we live in. The entitlement piece is huge now too.
Yeah, it's crazy because, so for summer workouts, all the young girls came more than the juniors and the seniors, and I'm telling these juniors and seniors, like, why do you think your spot is guaranteed?
Yep,
it's
and
not.
You just said it. The juniors are mad when the sophomores are dogging them. So
it's like your spot is not guaranteed. So don't think that you don't have to show up to these workouts. No. Yeah. You should be. They're not mandatory, but you should be showing up because if I'm a freshman coming in and I don't see no seniors coming to workouts, how do you expect for me to respect you? I'm not gonna respect you. You ain't even been here this summer all work, man. Get out my face. You ain't been here all summer. You trying to come in here to tell me, man, you better get out my face with that mess. And I'm gonna treat you so because you ain't show no leadership. You wasn't in here all summer with us for those 3 weeks, dogging it out, running and. You know what I mean? Coach making us do all this stuff to get in shape. You haven't been here. Now you want to come when it's November?
Yeah, their voice is irrelevant at that point.
Right. So no, I'm not. Nah, I'll be Doug if I'm going to do that. But again, like everything that you talk about, it just sounds like that's the way my program's going. And when you said I don't got that, I said, when you said I don't got that many seniors or I don't have a senior, I said, dude, it's the same thing with me. So you've seen a lot of success, but just in anything, coaching is not easy. Just like you said earlier, once you lose a game, now it's, oh, why you ain't do this? Why you ain't do that? Like last year, I'm 18-5, and I had a parent complaining, and her daughter was getting playing time. Like, why are you complaining and I'm 18-5, and your daughter actually plays? So what are you complaining about? You know what I mean? So you get that.
I feel you.
Right. Yep. So you get that. So, we go through challenges. So can you share a time when you faced a significant challenge as a coach, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. I think probably two of them come to mind. One being this past year. So I think 2016, we're just coming off our 2015 national championship. And then this year as well, we started both of those seasons. And so our 2016 team, also, we had almost everybody back from our national championship team. We only lost probably, I think, 3 girls or so from that team. And then this year as well, we started both those seasons 0-5. And, that happens, and you have girls who, we stink. Why can't we win? It's what's going on? Like, how it is. Questions. Like, we're not working. No matter what it is, there's all those different excuses. So, at both of those points, back then and this past year, it was just pretty much telling, hey, you got to trust the process, and the message both years was, hey, the season, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You know what I mean? We have 20, 25 more games, however many games we play, we have that many more games left. So, we can't worry about now. We got to stay focused on, what's to come. So, the message is always, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Keep working hard. And it goes back to, we talked about our teams, the teams we're playing. We're playing divisional NCAA D1, NCAA D2 teams, NAIA program. We're playing these tough teams. So I'm actually, both those years, really setting our girls up for failure in the beginning, and I know that they don't understand that though.
Right.
So, you just got to tell them to trust the process, keep grinding, keep working hard, and prepare for what's to come, So then, sure enough, 2016, we win, I think it was 14 games straight, in the second semester, and won our 4th straight conference championship. There it is. There's your prize. You know what I mean? Right. This year, we started off 0-5, won 2 games, then we lost 1. We went on a 21-game win streak, longest win streak in program history, won our 10th conference championship in overtime. There's your prize. There's your product, So, we talk about product and process a lot. A lot of girls, and not girls, I'd say girls that I coach girls, but, everybody wants that product. They want that top paying job. They want to win that championship. But they don't really focus on the process to get there, So I think it's important that, we say you got to focus on that process. That product's going to be there at the end. But if you don't focus on now and, the steps it takes to get there, you're not going to get that at the end. So, those were 2 struggles, again, because you're coming off great years and, you start off 0-5 and girls question and coaches, other, ADs or parents or, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? Trust the process. And, sure enough, they both worked out the way we wanted and got championships at the end of each of them. So, worked out, but yeah.
Well, that's just a testament to your cultural building ability and your standards. Like, again, like you said, nobody want to go through the process. They just want the prize at the end. And again, I think that's the culture that we live in today. Like, everybody get a trophy. Like, like I'm at a tournament and we should have won a game, the championship game, but we didn't. We won the 2nd place, and they wanted to give me the 2nd place, medallion. I said, I don't want that. Like, y'all keep that. Like, we ain't win. Don't give me nothing. Don't give me nothing unless I won.
Yeah.
Like, 2nd place I ain't win nothing.
Yep.
I don't want that. Oh man, don't give me. I don't want that. I ain't win nothing. Here's a fun.
Go ahead. Yeah, my 8-year-old's like that already. Well, he's 9 now, but last summer, I coach his baseball team and all stars and stuff. And we got second place in one tournament. He's like, Dad, he's like, I don't want this trophy. He's like, take it. He's like, if it's not first place, I don't want it. I said, you got the mentality, kid. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
We came in second place. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. But here's a fun fact for y'all out there to listen to, right? So, if we're talking about adversity and stuff like that and challenges that we overcame, me and you met basically during around COVID. Right? So it was a plan that was supposed to come to you, but COVID just demolished all that stuff, right? Well, is a silver lining that came out of this, and this is what I tell everybody, because everybody wasn't able to do this. And this actually is history, I think. Your program was the only program that year when COVID hit that won a national championship out of every college in the country. Is that correct?
Yep. So we're the only 4-year school that won a national championship in 2020. Yeah. There was a JUCO, I want to say out in the Northwest somewhere, a JUCO won one, but yeah, we're the only 4-year program in 2020 that won a national championship because of COVID, correct?
Yep. See that? Look. And I use that also. I'll be like, man, do you realize that man's school was the only one that won? and my thing was, I don't know how big was it that big? Like nationally, it wasn't that big, which it should have been.
Yeah, it would have been cool to to have it, because I mean that is like kind of history, but then people bring it back to like, oh, it's just in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Nobody's, so, but yeah, I mean, I think it could have been bigger, but hey, either way, we have the rings and, we got the banner and everything. So we embrace it.
Yeah. Cause Dawn Staley D1, she was ticked off. She was like, we had the best record. We was whatever in 0. Y'all should have just gave us the championship for that year. Like we was the best team and they ain't getting nothing.
Right.
They didn't get nothing.
So
they the best
we were
team.
still and how close it was to not happening is they shut down everything like during our games when everything started getting shut down.
Right.
Like and while we were playing, and we were literally still cutting down the nets after the game. And our director of student affairs, he was at the game and he walked on the floor while we were still cutting down the nets, and he was like, "Hey, I don't want to ruin your parade or celebration, but when you guys go back, they got to pack up their bags and leave." So, wow. I mean, that's how it was literally that close to, not happening. But
wow, that was crazy. I'm like, yes, my man. Go ahead. So, like we was just talking. So, COVID adversity. So adversity is part of the game, and it's clear that you mastered that, and turning challenges into opportunities. So now I'm curious, right? How has your coaching philosophy evolved over the years, especially with the different teams and the levels that you have coached at?
Yeah. So, I'll be honest, outside of me really being more calm, like early on, I used to kick over ball racks and throw basketballs off the wall.
Yes, sir.
Yell at halftime. And,
yes, sir.
I've changed in that way a lot. I'm most vocal during games now. Like people who watch me coach during a game, probably like, I can't even imagine what he's like in practice but I'm honestly more calm. And the reason for that is, I've come to think that, half times, pregame practices, that's the time for learning. So, now don't get me wrong, I'm loud and I'm energetic. I think I've always said that, the players play the way a coach coaches. Right. So, I am passionate, I am intense in practice, but I am teaching. Right. When it comes to the game, that's kind of like the test. And that's where I get more adamant. And, if they're not doing things right, maybe a little bit more vocal with them. But so that really changed. Outside of that, really not much. I have what I like to call it my PC3 model. So I want our girls to be better. I want our goal for our girls coming in, and this is back then and now, I want them to be the P's, a better pupil, better player, and a better person in the classroom, on the court, and in the community. Okay. So, I call that my PC3 model. And if we can get our girls to buy into that, and we can get them to become better people and they're better students, and, just build them for the next 30, 40 years of their life when they're in the workforce. If we can mentor them and mold them into what they need to be, our job there is done. So, really that's what it comes down to for us. And we have our core values. I mentioned one of them, service. So, going back to being a full court press team, and everybody knows that's what we've done, from day one of our program is we press. So, we've kind of joke around, we've heard, down being close to West Virginia, down at, Press Virginia. So we kind of Press State Beaver, instead of Penn State Beaver, we use Press State Beaver. But then I took it a step further and I'm like, if that's what our program's known for, that's going to be kind of our values too. So we took the word press and, developed our values around them. So, our P stands for positive, our R stands for relentless, our E is energy and effort, our first S is service, and our second S is sacrifice.
Wow,
and
I like that.
We say, if you can do and be good in those 5 areas, you're going to be good in life. You know what I mean? And it really made it nice for us too, is especially in practices and stuff, let's say a girl just has bad body language one day or just really not giving an effort. Maybe she's tired or, we don't have to look at her in front of everybody and be like, hey, like, where's your energy at? Or where's it? Like, all we got to say is, hey, you're not pressing today. Right. And with that word, they can kind of process, all right, well, what am I doing? Like, it has nothing to do with service or sacrifice right now, most likely. Is my energy not there? Am I not being relentless? Am I not being positive? They can just kind of process that themselves and self-correct, hopefully. If we need to step in at that point or at some point say, hey, like, what's going on? We do that. But, really, we just have to say, hey, you're not pressing right now. And they can kind of self-correct, whatever they need to correct. But, going back to your question, really outside of just picking and choosing when to lose my mind and when not, nothing's really changed. The overall goal is to, mold and mentor our girls and, make them better and hopefully prepare them for the real world.
Right. And well, honestly, dude, like hearing you talk again is like the same thing. Cause this year I'm not really that big. So guess what we're doing the whole year? We pressing. Cause I got a lot of guards. So, I got a girl that's 5'7". Yeah. Right. So I got a girl that's 5'9" that can handle the ball. And like, I don't really have no bigs like that right now from what I've seen, but I haven't seen everybody because we didn't do trials yet. But from what I've seen, like, we're going to be pressing all year. So right now, my program is like preparing my girls for your program. You see what I'm saying?
Send them in.
Because of the simple fact of how your style of play is. So my style of play is basically preparing the girls that I have for your program. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again, I seen that like when we first met, and then I seen you coach. I was like, dude. And the girls that was with me, so I had Michaela and I had why the girl's name is not you recruited her.
Roman.
Yeah. So I had both of them with me. So Michaela like, man, he goes just like you. y'all so intense. Yeah. So I think my philosophy, I think as far as coaching and practice now, I think I always been cooler in practice than I am on the games. But like you said, my girls told me this last year because it was one game where I was just chill. And they wasn't playing right. That's how I said, what's the problem? So they was like, you ain't hype? They said, we don't play right when you're not hype. When you're not yelling and hyping and jumping up, they say we don't play right. So we need you to get hype, coach. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So and I learned that lesson. You just described it. I learned that lesson as an assistant in high school. Mm-hmm. We had a really, really good team. We were single A, probably one of the smallest schools in the state of Pennsylvania at that time. But we had just had a loaded senior team that was really talented. And the head coach, we go into a playoff game and he goes, you know what, girls? He's like, I'm just going to sit back and and he's like me, he was loud, he's intense, and he's like, I'm going to sit back, and he's like, I'm just going to enjoy watching y'all play today.
Right.
That's first quarter. They played like garbage, and I literally told him, like, buddy, his name was Tim too. I was like, Tim, I'm like, you got to coach. I'm like, they're not used to you not coaching. I said, you got to coach.
Right.
And so he got up and started. But the problem, I think we lost by 2, but we stuck ourselves such a big hole in the first quarter because he wanted, and I get it. You want to sit, you want to enjoy, but girls especially. They become so adapted to, how you are and things like that, you can't really change that quick, I don't think. And so, I learned that lesson early on, and I said, I will always coach, and that's the way it's going to be.
Right. Cause sometimes, and I told my girls this year, I say, I wanted to really do all my coaching in practice because I really do want to just sit back and just watch y'all play, and I want to enjoy you playing. I said, I'm still going to coach you, but I want my point guards to really focus on coaching y'all while y'all on the court. I will coach you during timeouts. I'm going to get up. I'm going to hype. I'm going to be up and down and all that stuff. But I really want to enjoy y'all playing. Yeah. Right? So that's one thing. But no, again, them girls is like, Coach, like, what's wrong with you? Like, and then you said, when I start getting hype, and we was losing, when I start getting hype and stuff, then we started to come back.
They bring it. Yep. They play the way you coach. I truly believe that. And I'll tell you, the only time, and they get mad when I do it, the only time I really sit down and stop coaching is when they're not giving energy or effort.
Oh, yeah.
I'll sit down at the end of the bench and I'll cross my arms and legs, and they get mad. They tell me at the end of it, I hate when you do that.
Right.
But I'll call a timeout or whatever and bring them in and like, listen, girls, like, I cannot coach energy and effort.
Nope.
So it don't matter. You could bring, Coach K in here. It don't matter who you sit in here with the best X's and O's. If that's the effort and energy you're going to give, it don't matter. Like, so until you're ready to start playing, like, I'll sit here. Right. They get mad and, they'll turn it on and things will be okay. But, that's, you can't coach energy and effort. Like, it's just something you can't do.
No. And I love it. And people be like, I understand you. You're very passionate. I'm very passionate about the game. But the reason why I'm very passionate about the game, excuse me, is because I love the game. And one thing I don't like is when people try to take advantage of the game or don't give it their all.
Start cheating it.
Right. And don't treat it right. So my question to them is, why are you playing? If you're not going to go out there and give maximum effort, why are you playing basketball?
Yep.
I can't. Like this year, I told my girl, I don't want girls that got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You got to be all in. If you're not all in, you can't play for me. I don't care your skill level. If you're not all in, you can't be calling me late talking. Man, I had this problem last year, and I'm like, yo, are you serious? You can't call me a day before practice and tell me you gotta go get your hair done. I'm like, didn't you know you had practice? Like, the practice schedule been out. Oh, I ain't be able to make practice. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. You won't be playing until the third quarter, or you might not play at all. Then the parent get mad. You gotta get the head. I don't got. It's basketball season, lady. Like, you can get mad all you want, but
I had that at the college level. So I literally at the college level 1 year had a girl who, our first mandatory meeting, don't come, Coach. I had an appointment to get my hair done. So misses the first mandatory meeting.
Wow.
And that's when we hand out our offense and defensive book. Like, we hand everything out. Went the whole season, never even asked me for it. Okay. She literally went without the book or binder the whole season.
Wow.
So then we do our community service, mandatory community service. Don't come to either of them. We take the team on a trip to the Virgin Islands. We get to play in the Virgin Islands. Connecticut, St. John's, all them are down there. So we're among D1, like top D1 level teams. You don't come to that. And then her mom calls the AD and asks why she's not playing. I'm just thinking, and then the AD is going to question, well, what's going on? Why isn't she don't come to a meeting? She didn't come to she didn't come to the community service events. she misses 3 games, but like, it's crazy. It's crazy
right,
out
you're
there.
lucky she's still on the team. You wonder why she ain't playing?
Exactly. Right. Like, man, I get it.
Yeah, I don't. Boy, I don't get it either, man. But look, before we wrap things up, I gotta ask. So, what are your goals moving forward, both personally and professionally, if you don't mind sharing? So, what?
Oh man, that's something you really don't get asked as an adult. It's funny because we ask our kids all the time, "What are your goals? What's this?"
Right.
But then we don't really think about it. Professionally, I would love to move up.
Mm-hmm.
There was a local D2 job that opened 2 years ago that I applied for, and that would have been, honestly, that would have probably been my dream job. Not real far from home, full time.
Right.
But for me professionally right now, it definitely has to be the right thing. I mentioned my kids. I got 2 kids. I can't just up and leave. So I'm stuck in the Western PA area. I would love to get a head coaching job, D2, but I could also be an assistant. Like I think I had a D2 coach ask me, he told me I was on his short list. He was like, but my concern is, he said, you're a head coach. Could you be an assistant?
Right.
I'm not a power guy. Like I'll come in, you tell me what to do. I'm going to grind. I'm going to do whatever I can to make our program better. That's me. So, if it was in the area, and something doable, I would love to move up. But until then, hey, I'm a Penn State Beaver. My kids love it at Penn State Beaver. They come to practices. They probably know more of the other athletes there than I do. Like they're just in the gym and they love it. So, for right now, it's staying there. Hopefully continuing to be successful as a program. But, most importantly, outside of that success is, making sure our girls graduate, making sure we're setting them up for, future success. That's really the most important part of it. And we've done a good job of that. Personally, again, now my kids are 9 and 6, both boys. So, just being able to stay present in their lives and, coach them. Like I coach my 9-year-old's baseball team, his all-star baseball team. I'm the assistant coach for my 6-year-old's team. I'm the assistant coach in the winter for my 9-year-old's basketball team, even during my season. So, being able to just stay involved and present and, hopefully mold them into good young men and, making sure that they're being respectful and grow up and, get the job done. Those are probably my goals and my visions, right now.
Great. And look, I understand, like, being coaching and having young kids, because I was like that with my kids also, and they're grown now. So, well, except for one, she's 16, but I just became a pop too. So,
Yeah,
got a grandkid.
congrats.
Thanks. So I understand that, like, not wanting to leave and move away, because it's kind of hard, and it this coaching thing, you can move around a lot. And sometimes that's not good for your kid. And like you say, it got to be the perfect situation, because I have people asking me, "Oh, well, you're going to go coach in college?" And it's my dream to coach in college. But like right now with this high school, it's right around the corner from my house. It's right around the corner from my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I 5 miles a day. That's it, to go to work and go to practice. Like 5 miles. So it's easy. So I'm like, I don't really want to coach college until I win at least 3 state championships. And I don't know how long it's going to be, but I want to win a state championship before I go to college. And I said, if I'm 70 years old and I get a college coaching job, then so be it.
Hey, well, yeah, absolutely. So
be it.
That's the way. Yeah, I get it. I work from home, but then coaching, I'm 10 minutes from campus, so it's nice. It's the same. It's probably maybe 6 miles or so that I have to get there. And that, when I was at the NII program, it was an hour and a half down, an hour and a half back.
Right.
And at that time, my kids were 3 and a newborn. So, their mom was, I'm going, between an hour and a half down, an hour and a half back, 2 hours of practice. talking a little bit, you're probably gone 6 hours a day.
Right.
And, that wasn't fair to her. So, this job opened back up and I said, yeah, I got to come back home and, do the right thing. And it was a really good decision. Penn State Beaver, I tell people all the time that, it would even with a D1 or D2 job, this would be hard to leave. Like, it's a family down here. Everybody wants you to be successful. Like, it's a home, so.
Right. It's kind of hard, man. And I don't think a lot of people understand what coaches go through as far as their families. I just think like a lot of parents and a lot of kids don't realize that, dude, I spend more time with you than I do my own family.
Absolutely. If you're getting paid millions, if you're a Coach K or something, all right, right. there's risk and reward, but at our level, getting paid pennies on the dollar, family got to come first.
Yeah, and the only thing we ask you to do is give me maximum effort on the basketball court. Like, I'm spending
2 hours a day. Yeah.
Right, 2 hours a day. I'm spending every day with you, training you, working you out, blah blah blah. I might miss a birthday party. I might gotta miss a game for my kid. And the only thing I ask you to do as a player is just to give me maximum effort on the basketball court. Win or lose.
Yeah.
Just give me maximum effort on the basketball court. And the only thing, this is what I say to parents. If you're not actively like helping the program out or participating in the program or volunteering for stuff, keep your mouth closed. Don't say nothing. Like, for real, like, if you're not actively willing to help the team by doing the little things to help the team and help the coach, why are you sitting in the stands complaining? Like, you have no attachment to the team. Like, stop complaining. If you're not, if you see something wrong or something, let me see if the coach need help with that. Maybe that'll free him up to do, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, help the organization, help the team out. Be more of a parent that's involved with the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Goes back to service.
Right.
Goes back to service.
And ask the coach, hey, look, this is my skill. What can I do to help? You know what I mean? I really want my kid, and it's about your kid. I want my kid to have an enjoyable experience. That's one thing a parent should, like, I want my kid to have an enjoyable experience. No matter if they're sitting on the bench or if they're playing, are they enjoying it? You know what I mean? That's what the question should be asked for a lot of, parents and their kids. Like, ask the kid, are you enjoying this experience? And if you're not, why aren't you enjoying this experience? And the kids say, well, I'm not getting enough playing time. Then why aren't you getting enough playing time? Look at yourself. Why are you going hard enough in practice? Are you doing what the coach asking you to do? And if not, then, and if you feel as though you are, go to the coach and you talk to the coach first and ask him, like, coach, what do I need to do to get more playing time? Then you and that coach come up with a plan. And then if you follow on that plan and you don't get that playing time, that's when you got a problem with the coach. But look, man.
I agree 100%,
Yeah. So look, coach, it's been absolutely a pleasure having you on the show. Your story is nothing but short of inspiring. And I know, like you said in the beginning, I know our listeners has taken away some valuable lessons today. But before you sign off, I want to ask you this one thing. So what's one piece of advice you would give a young coach or an aspiring athlete out there?
Ooh, we talk about goals a lot. I think I need to take it one step further. Probably have a vision. And, I think the difference for me between the two is, the word talk. When people talk, they talk about goals. For me, a vision is having a process with that. So once you write it down and the steps that you are going to take to achieve whatever that goal is, that's when it becomes reality. I can say, my goal is to coach. My goal is to coach at Duke University.
Right.
Great. But now if I write that down and say, hey, I'm going to go work camp at Duke. I'm going to go work camp at Kentucky. I'm going to network and do these different things. and I have steps, then it becomes more of a vision. And I think you're going to have a much better chance of, getting where you want to be. So, I think having a vision is so important, not just a goal. Write stuff down and write the steps you're going to take to achieve that dream and those goals. Make it become reality. Something new we're actually trying with our team this year is I got this actually off the women's head coach at Penn State, Division I. It's called an MVP, and mission, vision, process. So, your mission, what's your reason for being here? And, what's your overall accomplishments? And then your vision, again, what are you going to do here? And then what steps are you going to take to achieve that and all? So I'm going to make, beginning of the year, we're going to make all our girls do that. And we're going to hang it in our lockers. And we'll revisit it throughout the year. Okay, now that, we're 6 months in, did anything on your vision or process change? What do we need to, maybe your GPA is not as high as you want it to be. So we got to change the process. Do we got to do more study hours? Do we have to have better time management? What is that? So that's something we're going to do new this year. And hopefully, it helps our girls stay more focused and, just see that vision and have that process to go along with it. But that's a huge one. And going back to what we said earlier, embrace the process. You can't just want that product. I was listening to a girl the other day, just overheard her, just graduated college, and not one of my players, but just a girl I randomly heard just graduated college, and yeah, they offered me the job, but it was only paying $55,000 a year. What am I supposed to do with that? She's like, so I didn't take the job. And I'm sitting there shaking my head like, you take the job. Like you have to, there's a process to get into that $100,000 job. Like you have to get in, you have to work your way up, you have to get experience. But so it was actually, I couldn't believe I turned down a job because it only paid $55,000 and you're 22 years old. Like, come on now, So, embrace the process. Nothing's going to be, when I first started coaching, I didn't get paid nothing. Like I didn't get paid to recruit mileage. I didn't get paid to be an assistant. Like I was volunteer and, led me to where I am now. And then the last two, probably, leadership's huge. I think if you can show leadership, especially today's young adults, because a lot of kids nowadays don't want to hurt others' feelings. I feel like they're just like, hey, like I don't want to say that, I don't want to do that, so they just let it go. I think being a leader is huge. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brett Ledbetter. He does podcasts. If you search him on YouTube, but just this past year he worked with Iowa women's basketball. Okay. And I encourage everybody to watch it. He talked about, he worked with Iowa women's basketball and they were all in a room, and the one girl, I forget what her last name was, but, she pretty much was calling out Caitlin Clark, like, hey, in practices, you're great, but in games, you take bad shots and we don't play the same as we do in practice that we do in games. And that's hard to find nowadays, kids, right. and that's Caitlin Clark. This is a girl that nobody knows calling out Caitlin Clark, but in the end, they got to a national championship game. That's she was a leader and did what she had to do. I think that was tremendous. Like I encourage everybody to watch that. And then last one, just grind. If you gotta volunteer, if you got to go work camps, if you got to stay after work an extra 2 hours to show the boss that, hey, I want this promotion and I'm going to do what I can to help this company grow, that's what you got to do, So yeah, have a vision, trust the process and show leadership and grind. Those are my things that I would encourage everybody to do.
Yeah. So speaking about visions, guys. So on my YouTube channel, I have 2 videos. One that I did with teaching youngsters how to goal set, and I have a PDF that helps you on it. So you can go check out 2 of my videos. Then I have another one with learning how to create a vision board. So setting goals and then creating a vision board. So both of those, if you go to my tips category on my YouTube channel, you will find both of those, and they have both the PDFs in there where you can download, and it'll walk you through step by step on how to create your goals and how to create a vision board and put the vision board up in here. Like I got a vision board right in front of me right now that I did when I was doing that video. The vision board, I'm looking at the vision board right now. Or it's the places I want to go, the championship trophy on it that I want to win, the money tree on there, all that. So like I see that every day when I'm doing a podcast or when I'm here creating a video. That vision board is right there. I want to retire in 5 years. Like vision board to say happy retirement. So you know what I mean? So again, Coach has got finished talking about goals and stuff like that. So if you're really interested in, again, go to my videos on YouTube, my tip videos, and a couple of tips in there. There's also a tip now on how to get recruited. Also, so go check those out. So
another conversation.
Right. So really appreciate you, Coach, and for coming in. Thank you again for your great wisdom today. Look, if anybody want to follow you or anything like that, let them know.
Yeah, man. Now you're making me really think. Personally, I think it's Coach Moore 13 on Instagram. I think Twitter's the same thing. I think it's Coach Moore 13. Instagram and Twitter for basketball accounts, Penn State Beaver WBB. Should be both of them, I believe. So yeah, I mean, lots of, I try to keep the two separate, personal ones, a lot of stuff with my kids. I'm a family guy. But, anybody interested in our program, you can follow Penn State Beaver, WBB should be there. You can see all kind of things, upcoming games, what we do as a team. I think this year I'm going to try getting more involved social media with my players, just so, recruits can get a better feel of campus and everyday life and things like that. That's one thing I want to do a better job of as a coach is, trying to get the social media side of things more involved. But, yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay, good. And I'll put this stuff down in our description. Thing I put is, your college social media stuff up on there in the description below once this come out. So thanks, Coach, again. And for our listeners, if you're looking for more insight like this, make sure you stay tuned. We're just getting started at the Underdawgs Voice, even though I think this is like almost my 40th something episode. So I got a couple more left to be 52 episodes this year. And we're getting ready for season 2 next year. But we're just getting started at Underdawgs Voice. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. And if you want to check out more content, all of my social media platforms is on one thing, my link tree. So you can go to Linktree at SQ Basketball Chronicles, and all of my social media platforms will pop up because there's some stuff on one social media platform that's not on the other. So you're going to be missing out. So check all those out. So until next time, keep grinding, keep hustling, and remember, every underdog has their day. This is Coach Q and Coach Moore.
Thanks, Coach.